Greetings and welcome to the 5k subs follow-up video. This video is going to be the answers to all the questions that were asked in the comment section on the last video, and then I will pick 3 people to win the prizes that I mentioned in the last video. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on because there's quite a few to get through and I don't want to keep you all day. So not all the comments have a question, but I will address each and every commenter because I appreciate every single one of you. So let's go. First one is Gary Green. It says, congrats Adam, well done man, here's to the next 5,000. Cheers Gary, here's to that indeed. Next one is James Porter. He says, congrats Adam, well done. What's the best car that you have driven? So that's an interesting question. I mean, I've driven quite a few cars, and the RS is amazing of course, but I mean, I've driven a Ferrari GTC Forlusso, and that is 680 horses of V12 naturally aspirated goodness. And I did that on the streets of Maranello near the Ferrari factory, and that was an experience like no other. So I mean, that's probably it, just, you know, plain and simple. Cheers James. So next up is 44. He says, wow, 5,000, that's awesome. I am feeling good at 44, lol. Man, every single one subscriber I appreciate, so absolutely I get you, man. So 44's question is, what made you start your channel and what do you think looking back at your first videos? Well, so the first part of that question, what made me start a channel? So it was kind of a curiosity, I guess, in a way. Like I wanted to see, you know, if I could, you know, make videos that were in any way decent, if anyone would even be bothered watching, which evidently some of you are, which is really cool. And yeah, it was just like a hobby, you know. I was really into cars, I was really into, you know, videos, and you know, why not combine the two? So I did, and I've kind of been on this journey ever since. Looking back at my first videos, I would say that there's quite a contrast between, you know, where I am now and where I was then, in terms of, you know, letting my personality come out on camera, how comfortable I am talking to you guys. Yeah, it's just quite different, you know. Over time, I think you really just get more comfortable, and you know, you can open up more, and you know, you develop your own style and your personality comes out. So it's quite a contrast, it's quite different. I wouldn't necessarily say cringy, but it's just a contrast. We'll leave it there. So cheers 44. Next question. So Ross Weir says, congrats on 5,000 subscribers lad. Cheers Ross. And he says, what's your job outside of YouTube? So outside of YouTube, I work for a company called Siopa Limited, and I work as a senior software engineer in there. But yeah, that's how I fund my life. It's how I fund my YouTube, because YouTube doesn't really pay that much, despite what some people might think. But yeah, cheers Ross, there you go. Next up is Chris Paulussen. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Chris. If I didn't, I apologize. Chris says, congrats Adam. Cheers Chris. And then what's the fastest you've driven your RS? Of course I've never exceeded any speed limits, Chris. So on public roads I've never exceeded 70 miles an hour. But the fastest I've ever driven the RS is, I think I did 110 one time, and that was pretty cool. That was of course down in Mexico. Moving on swiftly, before I get in trouble. Smithy D says, congrats AR, great videos. What will replace the RS when / if the time comes? Well, first off, cheers Smithy. What will replace the RS? That is a pretty difficult question, because right now, the way that the car market, industry, whatever you want to say is, there isn't an obvious next step for me right now. I mean, I'm really enjoying the RS right now, and I have no plans of getting rid of it in the near future, so I haven't really thought about what I would move on to. I would say that if I was going to move on from the RS, I would really want to be moving upwards, you know. That's what I've done in every generation of car that I've had. I've always moved up and upgraded, you know. So if I was to replace the RS, I would have to feel like it was an upgrade as opposed to just moving sort of sideways. And you know, you would look at maybe things like the the BMW M2 or something, like, or the M2 Competition, the latest one. That would be a good step up, I guess. I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of driving it, so I can't really say for sure if I even would like it. It is, of course, I'm not sure if you can get manual. I think it's only automatic. I would have to look that up. I'm not even sure what you can get in it. But I mean, in my head, that would be a logical move up. I don't think like the current A45 would be a step up at all. I think it would be a side step, so it's not really in the running. We don't know what the new A45 or the A45 replacement, if it's even called an A45, which it probably won't be. We don't even know what that's going to be like, so that could be interesting. I'll just have to wait and see, and maybe whenever I'm thinking about moving on from the RS, that will be a thing. We'll see. I just don't really know, but I mean, for now, like I say, I'm sticking with the RS because it's awesome, so yeah. Moving on to the next question then, T. Lee says, what's your favourite mod so far? That's an interesting question, because I've done a whole bunch of small things. I've done a bunch of more substantial things. Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, I'll probably just go with the mountain intake because I mean, it's a really good starting point for anything. I mean, you can do it on its own. You can get the benefits of doing it on its own, benefits of sound, performance, a little bit of a performance gain just by doing it on its own. It's not that expensive, it's not that difficult to do, and being a starting point, you can use it then to move on to your next mods. It goes towards your stage 1. So yeah, it's kind of like a gateway mod, and I think from that perspective, it ticks a lot of boxes, so it's a great mod to do. So yeah, that's probably it, the mountain intake. So yeah, cheers TD. Next up, J Max Creative says, congrats on the 5,000 subs, man. Cheers. As for a question, it's a bit of a two-parter. That's absolutely fine. Was the Focus the right move after the Fiesta? I think so, absolutely. The Fiesta ST was an amazing car. It was absolutely fantastic, and the Focus RS is just a step up in many, maybe even every single way. So logically, it made absolute sense, and I'm loving it so far. Yeah, I think it was definitely the right move. The next part of your question is, and also, which of the mods done to the Focus have brought you most enjoyment? Most enjoyment, well, I already mentioned the mountain intake. If you combine that with the stage 1, the FPM 375, that's given me a lot of enjoyment. I think it's a great thing to go stage 1. Really brings the car to life, even more so. It was already a pretty lively car. Let's not beat about the bush. Of course, it was a great car. But yeah, so intake, stage 1, there you go. Next up, Callum16. What do you do as a job? Just wondering. So I already mentioned that, senior software engineer. Next up, someone called just Alex. Congratulations. Thanks. When did you first start getting into cars? And as an add-on, why did you start modding? So I've been into cars for such a long time. I'm older than I look. But yeah, I think it was around whenever the first generation Focus RS came out was whenever I really started getting into cars. And I remember I was at school at the time, and I was buddies with another Ford enthusiast, and we had sort of hatched this plan of going on a big road trip in a Focus RS over to Germany and back and stuff, which unfortunately never transpired. But now that we're all older and have the means to do so, and I have an actual RS now, that could be on the horizon. So yeah, I mean, that was what, 2003, 2004, so a fair while ago now. Yeah. Oh yeah, and why did you start modding? Well, you get a car, and in this turbo era, there's so much that you can do to get really big gains and stuff. And obviously with the internet and everything, like social media, everything is really well advertised that, oh, this is available. So you get a car that's capable of being modded, to a huge extent, and the availability of things being pushed around, and it's like, ooh, it's just tempting. And then you do one, and you're like, this is great, and then it kind of becomes a bit of an addiction, and you just keep rolling and doing more and more and more. So yeah, it's an addiction, but I don't mind feeding that addiction. Cheers, Alex. Next up is Michael Hesford. He says, I think you're a great mate. I think you're great too, Michael, thank you. Next up is Croco Man, and he says, congrats mate, cheers. Really enjoy your videos. I really enjoy your comments. Next up, Matt White. Congratulations on achieving 5,000 subscribers. Cheers, Matt White. Thank you for being along for the ride. What's the best or worst modification you've ever done to either your Fiesta ST or the Focus RS? Again, it's a very difficult question to answer. I mean, I do think Stage 1 remap, both on the Fiesta ST and the RS, really opens your eyes to what you can do with modding. And yeah, so that's probably like the best thing that I've done to either cars. In terms of the worst modification, you'd probably say it would be the carbon mirror caps that I've had to remove from the RS. With the company in question, don't go there, man, they suck. Anyway, cheers, Matt. Next up, John Waddington says, hi Adam, congratulations buddy. Cheers, John. He asks, when you gonna do the track day? No excuses, now the better weather is here, lol. Shame you're over the water, I love to tag along. All the best, John. P.S. If you keep on with the mods, your car is gonna be quicker than the Lambo I drove on my track day. Haha. Yes, John. When am I going to do the track day? You're right. The weather is getting good. It's summertime. I'm super busy right now with stuff outside of work, outside of even YouTube stuff. So once the dust settles, I will definitely be looking into a track day, and I will film it, and you'll know all about it, and hopefully it'll be awesome. I am sure it will. I've actually started rolling in track mode, just normally track mode with a couple of settings changed, which I'm really loving on the RS. So track mode, track day, it's gonna happen for sure. I don't know if it's gonna be quicker than a Lambo. I mean, that might be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. But yeah, anyway, cheers, John. Next up, Car Rambles, another YouTuber, go check him out. He says, seriously congrats on the extremely quick progress. Cheers, dude. Noticed I was subscribed on this channel and only on my personal, haha, to the next 5K. Yes, indeed, to the next 5K. What was your favorite mod? I guess the mod that made the biggest difference, either on your RS or on Fiesta ST. Well, I've already kind of covered that. So either the intake or the Stage 1 remap, like I said before, opens your eyes. So it's a great thing to do. I guess if you want to go beyond that, the exhaust on the Fiesta ST was pretty killer. Love that thing. And then of course removing the Composer on the Fiesta ST was the right thing to do to then really enjoy the exhaust. And it was just great. It looked really good, it sounded really good, and yeah, it was a great compliment to the Stage 1. So that was a good progression from the Stage 1. Next up, Michael Hesford again, asking a question. If you sold the RS, what would you buy next? So you've kind of already had that question, a similar question to that one. You know, I would maybe look at the BMW M2, but I'm really curious to see what is coming in the near future with the replacement of the A45, with what Audi are going to do with the RS3, and is there going to be a Mark IV Focus RS? Who knows? What's it going to be like? Who knows? So it's really like, I'm just enjoying my RS right now. I'm like watching what's going on and what's going to happen and what's coming up. So we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, I wouldn't be really too sure what I would go on to, in all honesty. Next up, Ben Warren asks, what was the first ever car you modded / customized something on, and what did you change? The Fiesta ST was actually the first car that I ever modified. And I changed a whole bunch of stuff. It's too big of a list to go through, but if you check out any of my old videos, you can see all of that progress that I did with that. But yeah, the Fiesta ST. Mr. Fizz G, I think I said that right. Congrats matey, cheers dude. Great content and how-tos. If Ford made a Mark IV RS, would you be tempted? And non-car related, what's your preference, sweet or savory? Thanks, keep it up old chap. Well, yeah, I would definitely be tempted, I would say. I mean, it's hard to really say without knowing the spec and what it can do, what it even looks like. I mean, there's been some mock-ups done, which look pretty good, but when the mock-ups look exactly like the real thing, There's also some people saying, oh, they're never going to do a Mark IV Focus RS, so I don't really know what the crack is going to be, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I could definitely be tempted. Who knows when it's going to come out, if it comes out, but yeah, I guess we'll just see. Sweet or savory? Definitely sweet. I have a very sweet tooth. I love sweet things. But yeah, cheers, Mr. Fizz G. Hopefully I said your name right. Next up is Ray Style. Awesome stuff, Adam. Great content. Cheers, mate. So my question is, when you drive your RS to have fun around B roads, etc., does it feel as quick as the ST around bends and corners? All the best, buddy. Keep up the good work. Well, I would say absolutely it feels, I would say, faster. If you're in the right driving mode, then it's almost surprising. It takes you by surprise just how capable the RS is in many different situations. I'm pretty sure that I haven't even reached the limit of what the RS can do. It is just insane. That the all-wheel drive system is fantastic. The power is awesome. It is a B-road car for sure. It's killer on B roads. I'm sure it's killer on track, but like I said, we're working towards getting on track. But yeah, that being said, the Fiesta ST was amazing as well, especially with all the mods that I had done to it, increasing a bit of the stiffness and stuff, as well as power mods. Yeah, both great cars, just very, very different animals. So next up is Johnny Scott. Congrats, mate. Do you miss the Fezza? Yeah, I mean, to an extent, of course. I mean, it was an amazing car. It was really, really fun to drive. I think one of the things I really liked about the Fiesta was how like small and compact it was. The RS is of course bigger, and initially that was a bit, whoa, this is a bit of a bigger car. But you get used to it very quick. You get proficient in driving the bigger car, so it's not an issue. But it was nice the Fiesta to be able to fit into like really tight spots, But onwards and upwards, man. It's like the RS was kind of the dream for a long time, and that dream became a reality, and I love it, and I'm loving it right now. I'm gonna be loving it, I'm sure, going way into the future. So yeah, the Fiesta was a great time. The Focus RS is now, the Focus RS is the future. Yeah, cheers, Johnny. So next up is Matt Steele. Hi Adam, congrats on the 5K. Cheers, Matt. Epic work, and I've learned a lot from you along the way, so thanks. My question is, what are the main differences for you personally between your ST and your RS? I'm thinking beyond the obvious ones, more of what you personally feel when driving the RS versus the Fiesta. I've got an MR230 Fiesta at the moment and love it, but the almighty RS is always tempting. Thanks, and keep up the awesome work. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, so you're asking beyond the obvious ones, like the differences in power and things like that. The delivery of the power is very different. I mentioned drive modes. If you're in the right drive mode, the power delivery, even between the different drive modes in the RS, is really different. Yeah, it's just, everything just kind of feels different in it. I would say, the way that you get off the line is insane in the RS. One of the things I found with the Fiesta ST was it could be quite difficult to get off the line because you're putting all that power through the front wheels. It was kind of difficult to not have a lot of wheel spin. If you had traction on, if you give it a wee bit too much, you got a lot of judder from the traction control going, ugh. If you had it off, then it was hard not to just spin it up. Once you got going in the Fiesta, you were away. It was great. It was a very light car. It was fantastic. The RS is quite a bit heavier, but then the RS, you can just go in the RS. It's just so different. The other thing I think would then be just people tend to sort of look and stare at the RS more so than the ST. Maybe it's because it's bright blue as opposed to kind of a darker blue mine was. Maybe it's because it makes a bit more noise. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's the RS. But I kind of like that, it's kind of cool whenever people go ooh, or at least they're going ooh in my head anyway. So yeah, those are the main kind of differences beyond the obvious ones, I think. But anyway, yeah, cheers, Matt. Next up, Daryl in it. He says, huge well done on 5K subs, mate. Cheers, Daryl. Very well earned. I was distracted by the flecks in your paint. They are sparkly. What did you stick to the car again? Lol. Oh, what did I stick to the car again? So that was a little dot. It was like from DMB Graphics to cover up the key slot, the key that you never really use. I was on DMB Graphics website and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool and it's pretty cheap. So got it, stuck it on, why not? My question to you is, what would be your perfect 3-car garage? Being any manufacturer you wish. You know me well enough now that mine would be old/collector's Fords. Yes, indeed, I know that. For my perfect 3-car garage, well, I would probably say something ridiculous, like some kind of hypercar, so like a LaFerrari, for example. Something like that would be awesome. Something sort of in the middle, so maybe like the Focus RS. Something that, you know, you can use every day if you want, but you don't have to worry too much about like mileage or like whatever, or like, you know, it's just usable, but it's also got a lot of ooh factor and a lot of go. So yeah, Focus RS. And then something probably really compact and really practical. So maybe something a bit silly like a Renault Twizy, or maybe even a motorbike of some type. So yeah, I think that makes sense to me. But yeah, so that would probably be like the ideal 3-car garage for every and any situation. So yeah, cheers, Daryl. All right, next up, Kyle Shenthal. Hopefully I've said that right, Kyle. Congratulations on 5,000 subscribers, mate. Thank you, Kyle. Do you feel you made the right choice going from Fiesta to the Focus, and why? Yes, I feel I made the absolute right choice. I think that I wanted something more, and I got something more in many ways. I love Fords, so it made sense, logical sense. The other competitors out there, I wasn't really feeling them. You know, I would probably consider myself to be a proper driver. You know, I like the engagement that you get in the RS. The competitors at the time, being the Audi and the Mercedes, whenever you look at reviews of them, one of the biggest complaints is that they're not a very engaging drive. So that was a big sort of turn off for me. So yeah, I would say absolutely RS was the right choice for me. Next up, Cathal Finnegan, or is that Cathal Finnegan? I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully I have. Well done to you, congratulations on the subs, cheers. Now to my question. Love the cranes at Harland and Wolff in Belfast, but you seem to pass them a lot. Question, is it for the quiet roads, or do you live close by? I live close by. If I showed you that window, I could show you the cranes right now. And yeah, it's a nice little area to go and drive. It's really close to the Titanic area. It's really close to another road that I really like, the airport road. And it's just a cool like place that I like to go and do videos, and also there's like little spots that I like to go where I can go and like, you know, do like static videos, which is cool. So yeah, it's just a really versatile area. It's close by, and yeah, it looks good in the background, I think, as well. So yeah. Next up, Vegan Dad. I have an RS and never even noticed that I have a keyhole until now. Now I gotta buy a cover too. Congrats on 5k subs. Cheers. You're a likable guy, stay you, and I think you will continue to grow like a bad weed. Cheers. Next up is E-Hazard Gaming. When you fully detail a car, how long does it last? Thanks. That's kind of a tough question because it really depends. It depends on how you detail the car, what products you use, and then also what you do afterwards as well in terms of maintaining the work that you've done. So, for example, if you ceramic coat the car, then it's gonna last for a long time and it's pretty easy to maintain. If you just go down the line of like a hybrid or a simple like a spray wax after you clean, then it's not going to last very long. It'll look pretty good in a very short space of time, but it's not going to last very long. If you use like a hard wax or whatever, then you could get like a few months out of it if you maintain it properly. It's all over the place, so it's kind of a hard question to answer. But yeah, it just depends. Next up is, how do you say this? It's sort of this Rudy Jackers. I have no idea how to say your username, man. Congratulations on hitting this milestone. Cheers, dude. Q&A, will you be going Or do you want to go to any Ford event on EU mainland? I don't really know of that many like Ford events on the EU mainland. The only one I know about is that Ford one that takes place at the Nürburgring, and that is definitely somewhere that I want to go at some point. I haven't got anything like worked out in terms of actually going, but I definitely want to go to that at some point. Absolutely, yes. If you've got any suggestions of other cool events on the mainland, definitely let me know, and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, that would be the main one, the thing at the Nürburgring, which I can't even remember what it's called. But yeah, that one. Next up, George Freuderakis, I think that's how it's said. Well done on the 5,000 subs. Cheers, George. What would you say is the best mod on your car, or is there a mod that you are getting that you're really looking forward to? So, I mean, I've covered the best mod bit already. Mods I'm looking forward to. Probably, I'm looking forward to that stage 2, man. You know, I'm working towards getting bits and bobs, and eventually I'll get the map, and then it'll be absolutely epic. I have no doubt. So yeah, just always moving forward. Always looking forward to the next big thing. Absolutely. Stage 2 would be where I'm looking at. Next up, FA Myths. 5K, that's massive, well done. Cheers, man. If you could have any car for 1 week, what would you have and why? Interesting. So, I mean, if it's gonna be any car in the world, it has to be some kind of a hypercar, absolutely. So, you could be looking at one of the Ferrari hypercars, so like a Ferrari LaFerrari or an Enzo, or you could be like a McLaren P1. I'm not really too sure about the Senna. I would probably go P1, even though it's a little bit older at this stage. One of those hypercars would be really, really cool. So yeah, it's probably never gonna happen, but you know, you can always dream. Next up is Mada Chief 78, 5K, woohoo! How many miles you got on it right now as you see this comment? Funny, I saw this comment shortly ago and I was just in the car, and I can tell you the exact number. It is 18,202. So that kind of shows that given its age, which it's a little over 2 years, it's, you know, definitely being used. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's not just some kind of garage queen, but also not too many miles. I don't drive too much during the week, going in and out of work or anything. So, you know, keeping it down a bit, but absolutely using it and enjoying it. Cheers, man. Next up, T-Will. Congratulations. Cheers. Missing the Fiesta ST at all? I've already covered that a little bit, but, you know, onwards and upwards with the RS. Absolutely loving it. Next up, Mr. 330D. Well done on the subs, big man. Cheers. Been subscribed since I found out you're also from NI. Oh, cool, man. What's your favorite road to drive on to chill / blast down? Well, I would say, I mean, we covered the local area that I live in currently. So down near the Audi place, Belfast Audi, is a really straight road. It's real nice. Beyond that, there's the airport road, and there's actually a couple of cool roads in and around that, which are pretty epic. Going slow down around Titanic is nice scenery. Yeah, so probably around just this local area is pretty nice. Beyond that, if you want to talk about the cruise, I'm actually from more north than Belfast. So, you know, yeah, if you're going to talk about the cruise, you have to talk about Portrush, Port Shirt, absolute classics. So yeah, man, cheers. Next up is Kine. Have you considered going big power on the RS, or would you go elsewhere to another car for that? If so, what other car would you go to? I would absolutely consider big power. I'm waiting to see what happens. I know that Mountain are working on their stage 3 at the minute, which is going to be a turbo upgrade, and I believe they are looking at 475 horses with that. At this point, it's not released yet, of course, it could change. So yeah, I mean, that would be cool. If I'm going to go that route, I probably would need to get some engine forging done, just to be on the safe side. And yeah, I would totally consider doing that. The cost of going to something, you know, with loads of power would be pretty big. And I love the RS, so I mean, why not? Yeah, definitely consider it. But I mean, you know, one step at a time. I'm working towards that stage 2. We'll get there, and then once we get there, we'll see what's next. If I was going something else, I've already mentioned the M2. Depends, I guess, on budget, how much money I've got. I mean, it's kind of my dream to have like some kind of a supercar. You know, some kind of a Ferrari in the future would be awesome. So I guess we'll see how things go. But anyway, cheers, Kine. Next up, Mohammed Hamdi. What is your dream car? I'm a big Ferrari fan, so I've already touched on and mentioned the LaFerrari, so that would probably be my dream right now. Mark Graves, well deserved, nice job. Cheers, Mark. Next up is Sri Parang, super bro. Cheers, bro. Next, Curtis Gilmore. If you couldn't choose an RS, what car would you choose? So, I mean, I like the practicality of a hatchback. I like having hot hatchbacks. So I'd probably go, maybe the Merc, maybe the Audi RS3. The RS3 sounds amazing, and you can jack that power up like crazy. I mean, there's also the Golf R there. I mean, I think the Golf R gets a bit of a hard rap sometimes because it's part of the what you might call the VAG group, and it's kind of lower down than like the likes of the RS3, for example. But I mean, it's a solid car, and I think they look pretty decent, and you can do quite a lot with them in terms of mods. Either that, Curtis, or maybe go something like a Mustang. Although the roads around here are kind of narrow, and I'm not sure if the big wide Mustang would really work. Although I do love a nice Mustang, so Mustang or one of those German cars. Next up, Chris Pottinger says, congratulations on 5K. Cheers, Chris. What's the latest on the Autobeam front fog lights? The latest is that there isn't anything to report. I haven't heard anything about them. I might give them a shout and see what's going on, and if I find anything out, I will let you know. This is the last one. Last but not least, Luke Grimer says, what's your future power mods in mind, and how far do you want to go? So short term, I'm looking at intercooler, boost pipes, exhaust, and then eventually the CAT and the Stage 2 map. Beyond that, potential forging, and I already mentioned about mounting Stage 3, but we don't know what's going to come out. We'll just have to see what happens. And I don't know if I'm going to go that far, who knows. I don't know how I'm going to feel once I get to Stage 2. I mean, if money was no object, if I had, money bags, I would totally go as far as your mind could take you, absolutely, because it's addictive, like I mentioned earlier, and it's awesome. But yeah, we'll see. That's what's coming up, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, that is all the comments. Thank you so much to everyone who commented. So now I guess it is time to choose the 3 winners of those 3 prizes from last time that I mentioned. So yeah, let's get on it. I'm just going to do this kind of randomly. Not that you can really see this, I guess, but what I'll do is I'll kind of hold my finger here. I'll just like zip it up and down, and wherever it stops, that's who I'm going to choose. So I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at. Hold on. Yeah. All right. And stop. Okay, we have John Waddington. Congratulations, John. You have won the 3rd place prize. All right. Next up, see him again. Just random. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Okay, that's kind of in between. That's not really fair. We need to go again. This is not an exact science, as you can see. And stop. Okay, FA Myths. You have won the 2nd place prize, which is the same as the 3rd place prize. But anyway, yeah, well done to you. Okay, so who is going to win the top prize? Stop. T-Will. So, congratulations to T-Will, you have won the top prize. That was the Autobeam brake light bulb replacements and a sticker as well. So, well done to you 3. Thank you to everyone who has supported me throughout this whole journey of YouTube, and hopefully we can keep this ball rolling for a long time to come. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's probably been a long one. That's quite a lot of comments, which is awesome. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.